Hey everybody, this is Mr. Storm, and in this lesson we're going to learn about brand and position. So, what is brand? Brand is effectively a name, term, design, symbol, or any other feature that identifies your product, your good or service, as distinct from those of other sellers. Now, some of the brands that we're familiar with, we don't really think of them as brands. We think of them as companies by themselves or products by themselves. For example, Coca-Cola, that is a brand. The Coca-Cola company owns that brand and applies that brand to products by which it wants to associate itself with. That was a really grammatically weird sentence. It applies that brand to products that it wants you to think are made by the Coca-Cola company and hold that that standard of quality. Same thing with McDonald's, Nike, all these are all brands, right? Your brand name is a name given by the maker of a product or range of products, especially a trademark. So it's a name given to your product by the person who makes it or the company that makes it. So Frito-Lay, Mars, Pepsi, Dr. Pepper, so on and so forth. Now, these are all companies or brands, products, brand names that are actually managed by other companies, but they have a distinct brand name from other brands that company represents. These are usually the familiar or widely known name that you associate with that product. Then you have your brand mark or your logo, which is an aspect or element such as color, design, picture, symbol, typeface of a brand that cannot be expressed in words. So the Nike swoosh, that is a very iconic brand mark, very iconic logo. The Twitter bird that I'm partially covering up there. We're actually going to develop our own logos for our brands as well. So get excited for that. It's going to be fun. Generic brand. So these are a type of consumer product that lacks a widely recognized name or logo because it typically isn't advertised. Generic brands are usually less expensive than brand name products due to the lack of promotions, and they can inflate the cost of a good or service. So, promotions can inflate the cost of a good or service. So Western Family brand is one that you see often. They do this, like if you get some Western Family hot dog buns, right? They're the same as other hot dog buns that are created by larger brands. But there's no advertisement. When's the last time you've ever seen an advertisement for something that's Western Family brand, right? Because they don't advertise, they have a lot more money they have less overhead, which means the products tend to be cheaper. Brand recognition. This is the extent to which a consumer can correctly identify a particular product or service just by viewing the product or service's logo, tagline, packaging, or advertising campaign. So, I can recognize these logos on the screen just by looking at them. And I know what brand they belong to. I know what company they belong to. That is brand recognition. You want brand recognition for your brand. You want people to be able to identify, oh, that font is for that brand, so on and so forth. Brand preference. This is the measure of brand loyalty in which a consumer will choose a particular brand in the presence of competing brands, but they will accept substitutes if that brand is not available. Brand preference. Now, some people, I chose to highlight the example of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or my face is covering it up, but Shasta Cola over here. So the reason why I did that was because some people are either Coca-Cola drinkers or they're Pepsi drinkers, and that's all they will drink. It doesn't matter what it is. They'll ask for it. If they don't have it, they'll have water or whatever, right? Some people are either or. Some people will have all of them. Some people will actually prefer Shasta Cola. We call those people crazy people. But most people will drink Shasta Cola, which is basically just a ripoff of these two, if it's available, if it's the only thing available. The amount of loyalty you have for a specific brand makes up your brand preference. All right, let me move my face back over here. Cool. All right. So private or store brand. This is a product that is exclusively manufactured for a very specific retailer. And actually, I moved my face out of the way again because we have our example right there. The retailer will market the product under its own brand name, and prices for private brands are usually cheaper than competing name brands. So, for example, Walmart has the Great Value brand. You will never see Great Value anywhere but inside of a Walmart because Walmart creates the Great Value brand. And so they don't have to advertise. They just know that they're going to have shelf space in the store, and it makes those products a bit cheaper. Licensing. So licensing is a bit complicated. Basically, licensing is when one company reaches an agreement with another company that gives them the right to use part of their brand or part of their intellectual property for one of their products. For example, oh, not that. I don't want to move that out of the way. That was weird. Nope. Come here. There we go. Having some technical difficulties today. So if we look down here, we have Reese's peanut butter bar mix. Now notice that the company is actually Betty Crocker. The brand is actually Betty Crocker. This is a Betty Crocker product. But they have a licensing agreement with Reese's so that they can associate a popular brand with their brand for this product. Maybe people really like Reese's peanut butter cups, which of course you do because they're Reese's, they're really good. And you think, ooh, I want to make a Betty Crocker brownie that tastes like a Reese's peanut butter cup. So you would buy this product. One that we're all very familiar with, Lego. Lego has a lot of licensing agreements with other intellectual properties to make Lego toys, Lego sets, Lego kits, essentially, out of other brands, right? There's Lego Star Wars, Lego Marvel, Lego Back to the Future, Lego Lord of the Rings, pretty much any popular pop culture thing in the last 30 years has a Lego licensing agreement. All right, let's move me back over down here where I live. Beautiful. So brand licensing, that's the process of creating and managing contracts between the owner of a brand and the company and a company or individual who wants to use the brand and associated with a product for an agreed period of time within the agreed territory. So again, this is the same thing as a licensing agreement, but instead of using the IP, we're using the brand itself. And I don't know why that's on there. That's basically a repeat of what we just talked about. So let's talk about what makes your brand stand out. Okay, I want to make sure that we all understand exactly how to make our brands recognizable, easy to understand what it is we're selling, so on and so forth. So the characteristics of good brand images. So they should be easy to read, pronounce, and remember, right? Joy, Raid, usually single word title or single word brand names are best, right? They should be distinctive, meaning they shouldn't sound exactly like another, or they shouldn't sound too close to another, and they should be adaptable to the passage of time. Don't pick something that's only relevant right now. Using like meme language in your brand name, that kind of stuff goes away pretty quickly, right? So you want to use evergreen words. Evergreen meaning they're the same from now until the end of time. So these are examples of good brand images and brand names. So brands will make the consumer's buying process or buying decision much easier, and they offer instant recognition and identification. So again, I can make my shopping trips a little bit easier by just having brand loyalty for products I already enjoy. And when I'm shopping, seeing the brand name associated with a brand that I already trust makes it easier for me to decide which brands to buy or which products to buy. Consumer psychology, this is important. This is the study of when, why, how, and where people do or do not buy products. So let's talk about how some of these things affect how people buy products. Logo. Logos are really hard to talk about because there are a lot of different styles of logos that are very effective. But in my experience, It's always best to keep your logo as simple yet iconic as possible. Make it so that someone can draw it on the back of their notebook, right? Make it so that if someone sees the logo, they know exactly who they're talking about. They know exactly which brand that's applied to. Now, the Apple logo is one that is incredibly iconic and easy to draw. It's so iconic, in fact, that even when someone creates a parody of this logo for like a TV show, where instead of an apple on the back of a laptop, it's a pear or something, you know exactly what they're referring to, right? It's that iconic that even parodies are recognizable. Slogans. Slogans are really important because slogans are a huge part of your brand, catchphrases, jingles, mottos, whatever. And it creates an association for the customer about values that you want to instill, right? And by values, I don't mean like high level, like lofty values. I mean like, what do you want the customer to think of whenever they think of your brand, right? So for McDonald's, I'm loving it, right? Right there, just by saying the brand slogan, I am saying I love the product, right? And it's putting into my head an association with the brand itself and loving the product, right? Nike, just do it. That's super easy, right? Just do it. Basically, it's, Nike, they're athletic products. So in the slogan, they're trying to motivate you to get up and get moving. And they're also subtly implying that, hey, if you're going to do it, you might as well do it with Nikes on your feet, right? Color. Color is the most important decision when it comes to logo, right? Deciding the right colors, choosing the right colors is going to send subtle clues to the consumer about your products and the company that it represents. Let's talk about red. Red's powerful, right? Red will, it seduces your inner cravings, right? There's a fierceness to red, right? It just calls out to you. It attracts your attention. It stimulates your mind. It also can imply youthfulness, but also, weirdly enough, red is now associated with traditionalism, right? Because Coca-Cola brand has been around for so long in the United States that Coca-Cola is a traditional brand. And so now we think of Coca-Cola as kind of the tradition, the American tradition, right? Blue. Blue is the king of all colors in marketing, okay? It's visible. It's reliable. People feel like they can depend on blue. Companies with blue logos, they seem more important. They seem like they are more reliable and trustworthy. Blue is really, if you're making a logo, you might want to think about blue. Blue is probably the best color to choose if you have no preference otherwise. Green. Green colors are associated with health and prosperity. They give a sense of peace and serenity, nature. Green can also relate to wealth, but a lot of nature-based products or brands that want to be associated with nature, like the example that my face is covering, BP oil, right? They're definitely not a green product. They're not a healthy product. They dumped gallons and gallons of oil into the Gulf of Mexico. They're a huge polluter of the earth, but they have this nice green logo that makes them seem like they're really environmentally friendly, right? So green can help to put that impression into your customers' minds. Yellow. Yellow is more energy, more warmth, hope, optimism. Yellow can also kind of stimulate hunger. So yellow is really just for those brands that want to reach out and grab your attention and say, hey, pay attention to me, okay? Look at me right now, all right? Yellow is a very grabby color. Black. Black is really for high-level brands that want to seem higher class, seem higher status. Black is for marketing directly to elites and people with money. Black promotes elegance and power. A lot of expensive brands will use black. Gray. Gray is more for mature. So gray is like a more mature version of black, right? It's still for class. It's still for exclusivity. It's still for, higher cost, but it's also more like, yeah, we're elite, but we're not like those snobs over there. We're more mature, right? We're like the sweater vest wearing intellectual type of elite. Lighting. Lighting in your bright lights in your brand can make you feel, or make that product feel more attractive, warmer, give positive feelings to the person looking at it. Dimmer lights will essentially make it seem like you're more calm, less prone to flights of fancy, a little bit colder maybe. Emotion. So, emotions are the primary reason why consumers prefer brand name products. They evaluate positive or negative emotions to brands based on their experience with that product or advertisements they've seen. So let's take a look at some of these logos that we've probably seen in the wild and talk about how they match up with some of the stuff we've learned about psychology and advertisement. So FedEx. Right off the bat, we can see that they're using purple and orange. These are complementary color schemes, which draw the eye directly to the design. Now, do you see the hidden arrow in the E and the X? Now you're never going to stop seeing that arrow, right? That arrow is going to be forever in your brain. That arrow basically subtly says to the viewer that, hey, we're moving places, we're going places. Like, we're so busy delivering stuff, we don't even have time to not have an arrow not in our logo, right? Tostitos. So this is yellow and red. These are bright colors. Remember, yellow inspires hunger. Red grabs your attention, and so does yellow. Now, also notice that in the logo itself, using the typography, using the T's, we've created some people, and there's a chip dip bowl right there, and there's a chip. So they're right here, they're saying, hey, this is more of a party thing, right? We're at a party and we're dipping chips in a salsa, and you may never have seen that before, but that's definitely there. Next time you pick up a bag of Tostitos, I think I have some. Oh, you know what? I was snacking earlier when I was making videos. Look. Oh, where are we going? Tostitos, right? Tostitos. They still have it, right? So next time you find... Now, I don't have all of these logos sitting around my desk. I don't have like McDonald's or FedEx packages or whatever, but it just so happened that I haven't cleaned my office since the last time I was snacking in here. Okay, so anyway, look for that. That's pretty fun. And point it out to your friends and family, and they'll be like, whoa, I never saw that before. Okay, this one's a simple one, but it's really, really important. So the black text, it makes up most of the logo itself, which promotes, hey, this is something that's kind of exclusive and, more la-di-da, right? The yellow will draw your attention to the logo a bit more. But if you look at the shape here, this is actually a bicycler, or a bicycler, a cyclist, someone who's riding a bicycle. And this is the front wheel of the bicycle, and this is the back wheel of the bicycle. So this makes up a person riding a bike, hidden right there in the logo. It's genius. Amazon, again, so we have this black logo, which, says, hey, this is, we're a serious company. But they also have this yellow smile, which again adds some color, and it brings the attention to this word. Now, also, what this is subtly saying is we have everything from A to Z. Probably never thought about it that way, but that's the subtle thing they want to introduce to your brain when you're looking at this logo. It's also a smile, which kind of makes you think happy thoughts, right? Okay, Hershey's Kisses. Now, we didn't really talk about brown when it comes to logos. Brown is not used very often, but when it is used, it's mostly for traditional. It's mostly for down-to-earth, grounded, something that is a bit more brown is smooth. It feels smooth, right? And of course, because this is a chocolate brand, brown also references exactly the thing they're selling. Now, one thing that Hershey's have very powerfully, very awesomely hidden in their logo is in between the K and the I here. Notice that there is a Hershey's Kiss right there in between the K and the I. You may have never seen that before, but they've done that. And they've been doing that for years. Toblerone, softer brown with a not a really bright red, but a subtle, subdued red. This makes it feel more powerful, more important. Again, both of the chocolate brands we just looked at use some form of brown in their logos. But if you look in the mountain here, there's actually a bear. So the reason why is because Toblerone comes from Bern, Switzerland, and their symbol is a bear for the city. And this is, by the way, Matterhorn, a famous peak in Switzerland. Baskin-Robbins. So we have blue and pink. Blue and pink are, blue again is for reliable brands. Pink is for more playful, right? And so this makes up BR Baskin-Robbins, but there's also 31 flavors. So that's right there in the logo. So their slogan is implied in the logo. This one's kind of fun. I saw this one and I thought it was really, really interesting. Notice the gorilla and the lion in the negative space of the tree and the birds flying around. I think that's pretty cool. That's a cool way to do a logo. Goodwill. So we have black and we have blue, which is reliability. We have the smile, right? The person smiling, which means happy, right? Anytime we see smiling in an ad or in a logo, it makes us happy. But also notice that the smile makes a G, right? Good times. This one is high level. I saved this one for last because this is high level, awesome logo development. This was designed by a college student for a contest, and I don't think they actually use this anymore. I'm not sure. I mean, who knows? Baseball doesn't even exist anymore because of, recent events. But I don't think the Milwaukee Brewers use this anymore. But take a look at this logo. This is a baseball glove, right? We have a baseball right there, which shows, hey, it's a baseball team. But it's a baseball glove as well. But the glove is made up of M and a B for Milwaukee Brewers. Genius. I love it so much. All right. We've had some fun with logos today. We've talked a lot about brand identity. Whenever you go into the, so you're going to take the quiz on this information, and then you're going to get into the brand identity assignment, where we're actually going to build our own brand identities for our products. That's going to be really fun. And think about the stuff that we talked about here, what color means for your brand, the slogan, stuff like that. And I will see you in that next video.